Growing up, I remember kids wanted to be ballerinas, astronauts, firefighters. I wanted to be better than everyone. And my mom was right there with me. She was like, you're better than everyone at everything. And I was like, I can't even lie. When you're right, you're right. And then I found out that she was just lying to make me feel good. So I did a little experiment with her. Our art teacher in the 3rd grade gave us a project where we had to draw flowers in a vase with a background in pastel. Those were the only requirements. We're 8 years old. Most kids were doing like daisies, daffodils, blue backgrounds, red backgrounds. I did this. My teacher must have thought I was sucking on LSD tabs like lollipops. The teacher puts all the art up on the wall. I bring my mom into class one day and I said, Mom, 30 different art drawings. Which one's the prettiest? And she's like, well, which one's yours, sweetie? I'm like, you don't get to know. You just have to pick the prettiest. Now her soul is falling out of her ass because she has to pick the prettiest. It has to be mine or I am disowning her and she knows it. So my mom looks at all the drawings, not knowing which one's mine. Knowing she's on the clock, she takes a shot. She points at the one that looks like Andy Warhol and Rainbow Dash had a torrid love affair and says, that one's the prettiest. And I said, oh, that's mine. She almost fell to her knees in relief. And to this day, I think those flowers are only up on our wall today because it commemorates my mom's success as a mother.
This is why you should never go to sleep early. Once there was a girl named Rebecca who shared a bedroom with her sister. But one night something terrifying happened. Something no one can explain. Her sister would always go to sleep early because of work, but one night Rebecca felt exhausted from school, so she decided to sleep early too. She could have never expected the horrifying things this would lead to. When she opened her bedroom door, the lights were already off and her sister was in bed. She asked, "Are you asleep already? I still have to shower." Her sister replied, "Lie down. It's too late, shower in the morning." Rebecca said, "No, but her sister interrupted her. I said, lie down." This time her voice was much angrier. Annoyed, Rebecca went into the bathroom anyways, but found someone was already in there. Then her mom came out of the living room. "Dad's taking a long time in there, huh?" Rebecca said, pointing to the bathroom door. But her mom looked confused. "No, he's in the living room with me watching TV." Rebecca stopped. That's when the bathroom door opened and her sister stepped out. To this day, Rebecca still wonders who was in her bedroom and what would have happened if she had lied down like it told her to.
Ready with me for a black tie gala in Istanbul, Turkey. The reason that we're out here is that my little brother is actually a chef and he is here competing in an international culinary competition. Last year he competed in the US version and he actually won it. So they sent him out here to compete in internationals against 22 people from all over the world and he is representing the US. He competed this morning and the awards are actually being announced at this like gala black tie dinner event. The suspense all day has been fucking killing me. He's feeling super confident, so that's a plus. Nobody from the US has ever won this competition, so like if he wins tonight, this is going to be such a big freaking deal. If he even makes the podium, if he even makes top 3, it's insane. And if he wins, he gets a bunch of different awards, but he gets to go train in Paris for 5 weeks. So I will be going back to Paris. My mom and I figured if we were coming all the way out here for this, like we might as well make it a trip. As you guys saw, we started in Paris, we went to the south of France, now we've been in Turkey, and then after this we go to Greece tomorrow morning. So we're just hoping we get that goal tonight, bring that shit to Greece, and get drunk and drink out of it. Honestly, no matter what the outcome is tonight, I am the most proud big sister ever. Like, this is the coolest opportunity and he's so dedicated. Who gets to say they do this shit? It's wild. I'm so excited to show you guys my dress for tonight. It is so freaking beautiful. My mom and I are trying to figure out our updos that we're gonna do. Say hi, Mom. Hi. We literally have to be up at 5 a.m. and the Turkish feeds you alcohol, so just be prepared for another hungover travel vlog. My brother literally just called us and told us that he got the time wrong and everyone's leaving right now. Like, why do we ever allow men to be in charge? Why? Look at how fucking sick this dress is. It's like the dupe of the vintage Chanel one. Wearing these beautiful shoes to tie in with the red. Dark lip.
Is the hat too much?
Please, it complements the gown so well. Shawl just to be a little bit more respectful of the Turkish community. A black YSL bag. Here is the final look. Come here, let's come see your beautiful ass. Show us what you got. Queen, do a little spin. Oh.
And I love her updo. Done by moi.
Love you guys. Wish us luck. USA! 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 Just forgot these sick ass clip-on earrings that I just got. Ooh! Okay, now she's ready. All right. Bye.
You ready with me while I tell you about my favorite case that I've ever had as a lawyer? I took this case not long after I passed the bar. Another lawyer had already turned this case down, which usually is a red flag. But the only reason the lawyer had turned this case down is because it was a fairly minor car wreck and they couldn't find any insurance to cover the accident. And I say minor car wreck, it's obviously never minor if you're the one who's involved in the wreck. It turns your world upside down. But there was no catastrophic injury. So she calls our law firm and the call gets routed to me. We ended up chatting for about 30 minutes. So the facts of this case are that this was an elderly lady. She was rear-ended. She was in physical therapy for neck and back pain. But after the wreck, even though it wasn't her fault, she was cited for having an expired driver's license. But it was the reason her driver's license was expired that really got me. She had stage 4 breast cancer, and in between going through chemotherapy, radiation, and treating for her accident injuries, she hadn't had time to go and renew her license. And now she didn't have any transportation because her vehicle was totaled and there was no insurance to cover the accident. I immediately take her case. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm a new associate at this law firm, and then you're going to absolutely kill me and maybe fire me for taking this case that we're probably not going to make any money on. So the first thing I do is start arranging transportation to all of our doctor's appointments and trying to find insurance wherever I could find it. Thank goodness I did eventually find some insurance, which was amazing, but that's not why this is my favorite case ever. So I found insurance, and I'm negotiating her injury claim with the insurance company. Well, remember how I told you she got a citation for driving with an expired license? Well, she calls me one day and says, hey, I think I have a court date coming up for my expired license. Well, I am a civil lawyer, not a criminal lawyer. And not only am I a civil lawyer, but I'm a brand new one. Two very different kinds of lawyers. I know a lot of y'all are thinking, well, just refer to a criminal lawyer. She was paying for chemo, radiation. She didn't have money to pay a criminal lawyer. I am so new to the practice of law at this point that I have no idea if public defenders even handle that sort of thing. Either way, I'm like, you know what? We're doing it. Oh yeah, and by the way, the court date was the next day. I tried to arrange transportation for her to meet me at the courthouse. Nothing. Keep in mind, this is pre-Uber in my area. Also, I forgot to tell you, she is bound to a wheelchair. Sorry, don't hate me. There's gonna have to be a part 2.
Story time about my crazy and chaotic first kiss. When I tell you that this was straight out of a Wattpad fanfiction, I'm not lying, okay? This was my main character moment. Okay, so I was 15 years old, and honestly, I think that's the perfect time for a first kiss. Not too young, not too old, perfect age. A really good friend of mine moved to El Paso, Texas, and a few months after she moved there, I decided to go visit her via airplane. I had only flown alone one other time, so this was really exciting. I was kind of adventuring out on my own for the second time ever. 2 days after New Year's, I got on a flight around 10 p.m. to go visit my friend. Back at this time, I was super afraid of flying. I used to watch videos on YouTube about airplanes gone wrong and all the things that happened to airplanes that used to crash. I scared myself absolutely shitless, and I was absolutely terrified of flying for 5 years of my life. I still get on the plane. I'm flying Southwest. I beeline it to the back. I'm like, I'm gonna go sit in the back of the plane. That's the safest place to be. My ass gets all the way back there, and I sit in a window seat. I actually really liked the window seat when I was afraid of flying because it reminded me that we were not plummeting. Texting my mom, letting her know I got on the plane and everything, and I was watching everybody that was boarding. And I noticed this tall guy who was seemingly around my age, a teenager, walking towards the back of the plane. Since I was one of the first people that headed to the back, I was like, there's no way he's gonna sit next to me. There's 4 rows behind me. They're all clear. He's gonna go get a window seat or an aisle seat. But instead, he comes to my aisle and asks me if the middle seat is taken. And I say no. I swear to God, as this guy is setting down his bags and getting settled into his seat, I text my mom. I'm like, oh my God, a cute boy just sat on the plane next to me. So the flight boards and we're backing out from the gate, and I'm looking out the window. The flight attendants are doing their little thing. This guy turns towards me and just starts making conversation. Asks me if I'm from Phoenix or from El Paso, and I tell him that I'm from Phoenix, and he tells me that he is from El Paso. He said that he was visiting a friend that had moved to Phoenix not too long ago, and I told him that I was doing the same thing, except my friend had moved to El Paso. He said he'd stayed there over New Year's Eve, and he was showing me pictures on his phone, and before I knew it, we had taken off on the plane. His birthday was the next day, and he was turning 18, and he was telling me his plans, and honestly, he was really good at conversation. He was keeping me super distracted, and he was cute, so I was paying attention to him. This flight also is only an hour from Phoenix to El Paso. They don't even serve drinks on this flight. It's you sit down, you go for an hour, and you're done. The lady sitting next to him was this old lady, and she was sleeping the entire flight, so it was literally just me and him. So it's halfway through the flight. The lights are off, our conversation was going good, and it gets silent for a moment. And I'm just kind of looking out the window, trying not to be awkward. I mean, I was awkward. I was 15 years old. Of course I was awkward. He turns to me, and he goes, "Can I ask you something?" I said, "Absolutely, go ahead." And he looks at me, and he goes, "You are just so pretty. Can I kiss you?" You guys, I was editing this story time, and it's already so long. Please go to part 2. It's already posted, I promise. Okay, I love you, bye.
Get ready with me whilst I tell you some really funny but traumatic experiences I had when I was at school and being a social media girl. Starting off, I think this is one that a lot of people always get shocked about because they're like, no way people asked you this. But teachers used to always ask me oh, how much do you earn a year? And all these really, really personal questions about my money. And I just always used to think I would never ask a teacher how much they earn, so why are they asking me? A lot of people always expected, because I had a following on social media, that a lot of people wanted to be my friend. But I'd say it was the complete opposite. People was kind of I don't even know what it was, but people was just so weird with me and just was rude all the time and be like, oh, she's a TikTok girl, like, she's so prestige. But none of them would even speak to me. Like, I made some really good friends in younger years and my years, but everyone else just had such an opinion when they didn't know me, which is one thing I find with social media, and a lot of my friends had the same issues growing up on social media. It's really annoying. I think one of the most funny, memorable things is the rumours people used to make about me, which was so far from the truth. And it used to literally make me giggle so much because I'd be like, that's just not true. Like, basically, some girls was throwing balls at the back of my head in PE. And I felt really dizzy. So I went to the medical woman and they made me, like, tell them what happened. Because I was like, I don't really care. But I had to tell medical what happened. And then medical told pastoral, which is, like, the people that, like, try to sort out problems. And I remember I was like, oh, this is just going to get me so much more problems. And then the whole of year 8 and 9, I had a rumour going around that apparently my parents paid the school to get me out of trouble. And my dog's sneezing like mad. Are you okay? No, like, there was seriously a rumour going around that my parents owned part of the school. My parents paid the teachers not to get me in trouble. But in reality, they was all the ones that was being naughty and not me. That's why I just never got in trouble, because I was just the blooming victim of it all. But yeah, that was a very good rumour that went around. Everyone literally told everyone that my mum paid the school to get me out of trouble. Another thing was I was called Snobson because my last name's not actually Charlize, it's Hobson. And my whole school life, I was called Amelie Snobson because apparently I was a snob. In year 7, I had a red bag. So in year 7, most of the people used to call me Red Bag Girl because no one knew my name. If I ever had hate from anyone from school, like being horrible to me, and the school found out about it, the school would tell me to quit social media because that's the reason that I get hate. But, like, there would be kids that done dancing in my school that would get hate because they was, like, good at dancing. But they never got told to quit what they was passionate in doing. It was just because I done something different. If you want a part 2, let me know. I've got so much more.
This is why you should always keep your phone charged. A girl named Marissa came home from school at around 3 p.m. She walked in the door and told her mom that some random number kept calling her all day. Her mom told her the person may have the wrong number and just to ignore it. Marissa said okay and begins to do her homework. A couple hours later, she receives a phone call from the same number. Marissa answers it this time and says, hello? The man then says, we finally found you. Don't worry, bunny. Marissa begins to panic and tells her mom what just happened. Her mom's face goes blank and says, what did the man just call you? Marissa says, he called me bunny. Her mom yells and says, grab your stuff. We need to leave. Marissa, confused, packs her things and gets into the red car. Her mom begins driving fast and turns on the radio. The radio says, the baby named Marissa who was kidnapped in the hospital 10 years ago has been found and police are searching for a red car. Marissa looks at the woman and says, who are you? The woman looks back and says, you can